Good morning, everyone. In this session, we shall discuss about the substructures, that is the abutments and the piers. So, the one which is below the deck, we call it as a substructure, which includes the abutments and the pier, and the one which is above the deck, including the deck, we call it as the superstructure. So, including the foundations, the piers, the abutments, everything comes under the substructure. The bearings, deck, the parapet, the railings, the footpath, the curve, everything comes under the superstructure. So, whenever we are designing this substructures, that is the abutments and the pier, we have different types of abutments and different types of pier. The salient dimensions that we need to look for is the length of the abutment and the pier. It should be at least the width of the bridge. Okay, it should not be less than the width of the bridge. Minimally, it should be at least the width of the bridge, and it should be the width should be so determined such that it is enough for placing the bridge bearings also. The top level of the abutment and the pier should be 1 to 1.5 meters above the high flood level. So there won't be any water action on the bearing, or the water currents won't disturb the deck slab or the superstructure. So always we have to take into consideration that the look into it that the whenever we are designing, the top of the abutment and the pier should be at least 1 meter to 1.5 meter above the high flood level. And also the cover depth should be determined, the height of the scar depth, because scarring action greatly influences the foundation. So scouring, the height of the scouring should be determined. The cross-sectional and the longitudinal profiles along the bridge side should be determined. Pier ends, that is, which are shaped for streamlining the passage of water, should be usually semicircular, or preferably it should be semicircular, so that the ease water and the cut water will be proper, and the pier foundations or the pier won't be disrupted. So these are some of the salient dimensions that we should look into when we are considering the abutment or the pier. One is the length of the pier should be at least the width of the bridge. The width should be such that it should have enough space for placing the bridge bearings. The top level should be around 1 to 1.5 meters above the high flood level. Height of the scar depth, the cross-sectional and the longitudinal profiles along the bridge side should be determined. The pier ends also should be shaped for streamlining the passage of water, and preferably it should be semicircular. And whenever we are calculating the stress calculation for pier, we are going to consider the dead load from the superstructure, the self weight of the pier, and we are going to calculate the stresses at the base, which will be total dead load by area of the base. And also we are going to consider the effect of buoyancy for any reduction in weight, because the structures will be, the abutments or the piers will be immersed in water. Always there will be a reduction in weight when the structure is immersed in water. So the submerged volume of the pier into density of the volume gives the effect of buoyancy. Then stress in the base will be, corresponding stress at the base will be reduction in weight by area of the base. So moment at the base due to tractive effort, that is whenever a vehicle is moving and there is a braking effort, brake supplied by the vehicle, there will be some horizontal or longitudinal forces that is exerted by the design vehicle. So it will be, this tractive effort will be equal to longitudinal force due to design vehicle into height of the pier, and stress at the base will be moment by modulus of the section. Then stress due to eccentricity of the live load. Always we can't expect that the live load is exactly at the center of the pier. Sometimes there will be eccentricity of the live load. So the moment that is created due to the eccentricity of the live load should also be calculated, which will be moment due to eccentricity by modulus of the section. Wind force also should be, because of the height of the structure, the wind also exerts some forces. So the exposed area above the bed level into intensity of the wind load will give you the wind force. All these bending stresses should be calculated at the base. With the base as a reference, we should calculate not only the wind forces but also there will be stresses that will be induced due to water current, which should be calculated. So the stresses due to water current, wind forces, the live load, the eccentricity of the live load, all these parameters should be calculated and corresponding stresses should be found out. All these things has to be done at the calculated at the base of the year. So whenever we are looking for the substructure that is piers, it may be of any material, that is brick masonry, stone masonry, RCC, pre-stressed or any other material. So we need to look for the loads and the forces. The one is the self weight, the dead load from the adjacent spans, the buoyancy, longitudinal forces due to braking effect, frictional resistance of the braking forces, bearings, then due to the water currents, wind pressure, then if there is any curve effect that should also be considered, then seismic effect, all these are some of the loads and forces that should be considered in the design of piers. And coming to abutments, again abutments can be brick masonry, stone masonry or even it can be of complete concrete or RCC. So the length of the abutment, uh, all those things has to be considered when you are designing. Even when calculating the loads and forces for abutments, the self weight, that is the dead load, live load, due to the braking effect, frictional forces, active earth pressure, the seismic forces, all will be applicable. The effect of earth pressure due to the backfill will be present in case of abutments, but not in case of piers, because abutments are the end structures and piers are the in-between structures which will be supporting the entire span. So for computing earth pressure, you have to consider a rate phase as step back.